Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Today I'm going to make the bullish case for Bitcoin. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm not telling you to go out and buy it. I'm not telling you to hold on to it if you already have it. I just wanted to make the bullish case, the case that I believe personally, for me at least, that Bitcoin is going to be all right. First of all, it's a new-ish technology. It doesn't have the history that, let's say, gold and silver have, or even the S&P 500, something like that. It's about a decade old. So a new technology is going to have some speed bumps. Got to be some bumps in the road. That's normal. You've got to expect that. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to go to zero just because it has some volatility to it. Doesn't mean that it's like the tulips or like Beanie Babies or something like that. All right. So that's my first point. And that kind of comes to my second point, which is we've had crashes before, okay? Right here, we have a visual representation from how much .net, wanted to give them credit, and this graphic shows all of the horrific Bitcoin crashes that have happened before, and of at least 30% or more. And it's happened 12 times. And so right now we're in the middle of the 12th one, okay? Right now we're in the middle of this one, all right? And we don't know how far down it's going to go. But anyway, we've been there before, been there and done that. In fact, we've had even worse. Here's an 83% crash, and it came back up and more. Here's an 87% crash, and it came back up and a lot more. So right now, if you invested at a high price recently within the last couple of years, yeah, this crash seems horrific, but if you're willing to pull back the chart a little bit or just look back in history, we've been there, done that, and we survived it 11 other times. All right, this one seems bigger because it's more widely publicized, or maybe you just, if you're a newer investor into Bitcoin and this is your first crash that you're experiencing, it might seem more painful. But I assure you these other crashes were quite painful, just as much as this one, okay? The numbers were lower, all right? And so you've got bigger numbers now. But a crash from 19,000 something to, right now around 60, the 6,000s is no less painful than, a crash from 1163 to 152 or 259 to 45. Just because the dollar figures are smaller doesn't mean that the percentages were any easier to tolerate, okay? So think of it that way. And here's what Bitcoin has done in the past few months, and notice there's stability there, okay? I mean, this may look like volatility, but it's not. Bouncing in a range, really, and the range is getting smaller and smaller, okay? And now you've got some real stability here between 6,000 and 7,000 here. So that's a good sign. That's healthy. So if you were scared off by the volatility, maybe you shouldn't be scared off anymore. We've seen some real stability, at least recently, so that's an encouraging sign. And I'd also like to show you, yes, if you pull back the chart, this is the long-term Bitcoin chart since the beginning. And a lot of people like to compare this to the .com bubble and bust. Okay, so let's go ahead and compare it. All right, so take a look at this, all right? Get the imprint in your head, and then, hey, here's the NASDAQ, all right? And yes, the .com bubble and the burst, okay, it's strikingly similar to Bitcoin, okay? Once again, Bitcoin, the .com bubble and burst. And so it's an easy comparison to make. Okay, you want to make that comparison? Fine. I don't think they're exactly the same because Bitcoin technology and the .com bubble, or there are differences between them, but we don't have to go into all that. For argument's sake, let's say they are the same thing, okay? They are both technological innovations. The internet was a huge technological innovation, and so is the blockchain and Bitcoin, okay? Well then, you can argue that, hey, the internet is still here in 2018, so it's not like the NASDAQ went to zero. It's not like the internet just came and went. it's still here. It's everywhere. If you're watching this right now, you're probably doing it on the internet. So, you can say the same thing about blockchain technology then. Why wouldn't that survive just like internet technology did? And also, if you're going to make the comparison, okay, let's see what happened to the NASDAQ after the dot-com bust. Let's see what happened. Well, there's the dot-com bubble, there's the bust, and if you were patient, you gained it back and a lot more. You did quite well. Now, you had to hold on for a while, granted, but if you're long-term in this game, my opinion is I don't see why it won't recover, just like the NASDAQ did. Again, I don't want to make a prediction because I don't want to tell people what to do, but I believe in blockchain technology, okay? So if this is where we're at, really, in Bitcoin terms, then you just got to be, perhaps you could just be patient and hold out for the long term, all right? Or if you want another analogy, if you want a really striking similarity, all right, here's gold. Okay, maybe Bitcoin is more like gold. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Okay, let's go back. Here's Bitcoin. All right, take a look at that. Look at the shape of it. And then let's go to gold. That's strikingly similar. One more time. Okay, Bitcoin, look at the shape. Gold, very similar. All right, and can you imagine if gold were still, less than $700 an ounce today? Boy, that would be great, right? It's in the 1200s now. So obviously gold did quite well. There it is. And again, if you were patient, yeah, you had a rough patch there, but if you just held on, you did quite well. It peaked in September of 2011 at around $1,900 per ounce. Now it's in the 1200s, so it corrected a bit. After a move like that, there's going to be a little bit of retracement. That's normal and natural, okay? So could this happen to Bitcoin? Could you have a rough patch and then boom? Hey, who knows, right? All I'm saying is that we've seen this before, and there are striking similarities to other asset classes like the NASDAQ and like gold and other precious metals that in the end did quite well. They didn't go away, they didn't go anywhere. I know it's not a perfect comparison. I know that gold has a much longer history, 6,000 years, compared to Bitcoin, which has a decade or so of history behind it. I get it, all right. It's not exactly the same. I'm just saying you don't have to give up hope. You can be bullish on Bitcoin, and you don't have to agree with the critics out there. All right, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a comment if you agree or if you disagree. It's cool. I'm good with that. And please subscribe to my channel if you didn't do it already, and hit that notification bell on YouTube so you can receive the latest updates on my financial educational videos. All right, thanks a lot. Keep the faith, folks. It's going to be all right. I'll talk to you soon.